Oh, that's right. I'm still the only one that hears you. All right. Meanwhile, as we're waiting for tech supports, can you just let us know when George, if you keep talking, I'll let you know when everybody can hear us or hear you. And that's right in your wheelhouse. So I'm gonna keep talking while we're trying to get you up and running. So very strange day. If you're in Bitcoin, I don't know what I can't even explain what happened today, and it's just getting bizarre. So Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin went down from the opening bell. It just went down all day long. But
can you hear me now?
You let me know when you hear him because he's talking okay.
Yeah, it'll be like 30 seconds lag. I think. George, can you talk for me?
Okay. I've been investing since
Okay,
2015.
we're up.
Non-stop
Have a
and
good
today
stream,
is
everybody.
60% of my holding. I'm really
you.
been more than 10% cash. Was sold off all my miners with the RSI and MACD crossed over. Good luck, everyone. So can you guys hear me? Because I want to ask Mark a question. Is he up or is he down from what he started investing, or you know what I mean?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, if he's been in since 2015, the question is when did he get into the Bitcoin mining stocks? And
Thank you, Barry. Hi.
So Mark is out. Mark is out of the miners. Out of the miners or out of everything?
It sounds like he's out of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's alone. I think a lot of people are on the sidelines right now. I don't think anybody believes that this is anything other than, you know, a little relief rally. But you know what? We just don't know. That's the thing. It's like you can't say when the bottom's in until, you know, it's long gone and you already missed it. Not that I'm saying that there's a bottom in, because I mean, look at today. I would have never guessed today's action on Bitcoin. I mean, I'm on the chart on the screen. If you look, I mean, this orange line, that's where we closed. That's when we closed the equity markets yesterday. So Bitcoin never got today for I guess for 1 second right here, back to where it was when we closed yesterday. So it was down 100% of the day today. And yet,
that's crazy.
Yeah, this is the 9:45 candle, and then this is from 10 o'clock on. This is Eastern Standard Time, so half an hour after the market's open, boom, just down in a straight line sideways, and then down again. And this period right here is outside of our trading range. You will see back when we flash crashed on what was this? The 26th. Oh, no, this was when we popped down to 28. This was not when we popped down to 25. So we've done this once before. We kind of got out of the range for a minute, right back into it, and it looks like that's what happened again here. But this all looks, I mean, if you look at this chart, this is the 15-minute. Let me zoom out a little bit. This just all looks like downward pressure to me. I mean, this was actually, we were kind of in, you know, we were holding this bottom, but that's the 4-hour candle at 8 o'clock this morning. So you can see that was, you know, including the opening of the market, that was very bad. Seth, I'm white-knuckled. Yeah, right on. This is rough. Took a 50. So Mark's saying he took. So Mark pretty much got out. He said he took a 15 to 20% loss, but took some profits from Riot. So you were in long enough that you could get out, and you're still pretty much whole, and that's okay. I think the vast majority of people in the Bitcoin miners, anyway, are probably upside down right now. I mean, the entire year of 2022 has been monumental downward pressure. And really, no relief. And while I think the Dow just broke its 8-week streak of being down, it looks like I'm going to go to the daily, but we could be set up for week number 9. I got to go to the weekly.
Yeah, what happened? Did they close? Did it close up or close down? What did it do?
Well, the week's not over, but, I mean, unless we have a massive rally, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was as of last week. That was the first time in history Bitcoin had 8 weeks in a row where it went down, and this is week 9. So, this is definitely, this is a losing streak. And it's not vicious as a percentage of Bitcoin, but that's a lot. That's 2 months of just down. No relief rallies at all. Now, I suppose today we did get a little bit, you know, if we look at the Bitcoin miners, yesterday and today, the Bitcoin miners at least settled down, and most of them are up a little bit. Some of them are up pretty decent. But they're all still within striking distance of their 52-week lows, even after a nice couple of day run. So it's not like, I mean, even if that was the bottom, it's not like you missed anything. You're still almost at the 52-week lows on every one of these. And there's some interesting, some of these are trading on volume that is inconceivably low volume. I looked at DigiHost, you know, that's up 14%, but I mean, like, I'm going to look here. Nobody traded this stock today. It's unbelievable.
Nobody traded what stock?
35,000 shares of DigiHost were traded today. And remember,
wow.
It's at $1.82. So that means there was $70,000 spent on DigiHost all day today. That's like 30 seconds on most stocks. And that was the whole day for DigiHost. So this is some crazy low volume, and you can see these market caps are getting low. DigiHost market cap is at 50,000, and that's after it was up big a couple of days in a row. So the one that's really, I think, interesting, even though I'm scared of it, I'm going to switch over to it.
Oh, is your Chinese company?
No, this is not the Chinese company. Stronghold Digital. This also trades on very, not like the other one, but still very low volume, you know, 657,000 shares at $3 a share. So, you know, that's still not a lot. It's much more than DigiHost, but this trades on low volume, and this is at a $59.9 million market cap. So this is one of those win or lose situations. If these guys make it to the other side of what's going on, they're going to go through the roof. Having said that, they got some big problems. But this is a risk reward that's probably the biggest upside out of any of these, but also a very big downside.
What are the things that could happen to make it go on the downside?
Well, if Bitcoin stays in a sustained bear market and we go into, you know, this crypto winter that everybody's fearing, then...
So explain to me why we're going deeper into a crypto winter?
See, Bitcoin, I did a video on this in the middle of the week. The altcoins, by the definition, are in a crypto winter right now. So, however long that lasts. But Bitcoin is not. The big 3 coins, and really the big 2, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're down, but they're down, you know, 60%, which is a lot, but that is not crypto winter. The big expectation is always down 85%, and you know, typically a crypto winter is defined by, you know, about 2 years of staying down 80 to 85%. So we're in nothing like that, right? We're in a bear market for sure, but crypto is very volatile. So for Bitcoin, I mean, this has not been a great run, obviously, particularly this is 9 weeks in a row, but it's not a crypto winter for Bitcoin. But it's looking like it's shaping up like the altcoins are in a crypto winter, and I personally have the feeling that is going to get worse.
You mean like the next like 30 days, 60 days? What do you think?
I think the rest of this year, I think that, and I'm worried about altcoins. So that's just my personal opinion. I have no inside information in any way, shape, or form, but to me, I'm very worried about altcoins. I read a couple of articles, and I should have saved them so we could look at them together on the live stream. But basically, it's starting to look like, you know, the U.S. is going to pass regulations, and it's going to be sooner than later, especially with what happened with UST and two different sources, and I can't remember who they were, but they were, one I think was a senator, and one, I don't remember what their position was in the SEC, but they both seemed to indicate that anything proof of stake was going to be considered a security and fall under the SEC. So that's going to knock a lot of these coins into a world of pain because they are not prepared to be under the auspices of the SEC. And for as long as people think they are, and everybody believes we're switching over to ETH soon, Mark's saying, I'll buy back into CleanSpark, Core's Riot, and maybe Bitfarms. Lost faith in HUT. If ETH 2.0 happens in August, nobody will be buying the machines, and other altcoins aren't worth mining. Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, ETH is Bitcoin and ETH are they're the two market caps that exist in this space. Everything, third and fourth place are stable coins. So, but now with HUT, they do mine ETH, but you know, it's not a gigantic percentage of what they do. But they make a lot of money mining ETH right now, and if that goes away, you know, that won't be good. However, their balance sheet, this is one of the things I'm going to try to go through stock by stock. So I don't know if any of you saw my video on you know, what it takes to survive a crypto winter that I did this week, and I kind of outlined my thoughts on, you know, what it's going to take, and I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's the things that people are talking about are not the things that are going to help a company survive a crypto winter. Those are the things that help companies thrive in a bull market, in a crypto bull market. But if we're going to go into a bear market, you got to look at Hut 8's balance sheet. So there's several companies that have extremely strong balance sheets. So that's one of my top criteria. You know, liquidity, balance sheet, debt. There's a bunch of companies that just took out a bunch of short-term debt. So if you took out short-term debt right before you entered a crypto winter, that means all your debt's coming due when Bitcoin's at its all-time low. So that formula is a problem. So a lot of companies did not do debt, but a lot of companies did. And, you know, and a lot of it was at the behest of the shareholders who were sick of getting dilution through, you know, more equity raises. So they switched over to debt, but for some of them, I'm afraid, you know, and by the way, I don't think we're going into a Bitcoin crypto winter. So, you know, there's a theoretical discussion because I do think we're in a bear market. There's just no denying that. But I think there is an end in sight for Bitcoin anyway, in my opinion. But if there is not, then some of these guys are not going to make it. Just trying to read some of the comments. Do you guys know about the Cbbi confidence index? No, I don't, Seth, so let me Google it. All right, I'm looking at this, but I don't know what it means yet. 22, 23, 22. Well, I'm going to have to look into this to see exactly. Cbbi Bull Run Index. The confidence score indicates whether we are approaching the top or bottom of a blow-off Bitcoin cycle. So, what's a good score? Because we're at 23 right now. That doesn't sound like a good score. Yeah, very low. We're not historically low. There have been a couple of monster dips during the previous crypto winners, but we're down there. So, and I mean, a lot of the indicators, the fear and greed index has been in extreme fear for a long time now. More than a month. It got down to 8, which I haven't seen in multiple years. Mark is saying, I thought Hut exclusively mined ETH to convert to... No, actually, like 90% of their mining is through ASIC miners. They mine Bitcoin, but they have 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs that mine ETH and they get paid in Bitcoin. But that is a very small percent of their total mining capacity. But it's a very profitable part of what they do. So I'm not saying it won't affect their profitability. But they're not like Hive is much more dependent on Ethereum than Hut is. They're greater than a third. They're more like 35% of what they do, and they don't get paid in Bitcoin. They get paid in Ethereum. So those are the two biggest out of the publicly traded companies. Those are the two that are the most into Ethereum, But also with Hut, they've got this data center where I think they can use these GPUs as a part of their other line of business if and when, they can no longer mine Ethereum. So, I'm not sure. Obviously, that won't be as profitable or as efficient, but... They'll need a team of Sue Ennis. I just heard back from her. We're going to be talking to her, I think, next week. So... We're going to have Sue back on the channel, I believe, next week. She's just double checking.
Can we talk to them? Are we allowed to? Because once we talk to them, they usually stop. You know what I'm talking about. They usually stop the show after I speak to them. I don't know why. I'm the kiss of death.
So, yeah, no, they do have a fleet of ASIC machines, and the machines they're buying are ASICs coming up. This was a one-time only. They did buy 10,000 from NVIDIA. They bought 10,000 high-performance GPUs, and I think they already knew at that point that they were buying a data center, and so I don't know. But these are all questions we can ask Sue. So if you guys got anything you want me to ask Sue, you can drop it in the chat, and because I think we're talking to her next week.
ETH is not a trash. What do you think? Do you
Thanks,
think it
Kevin.
really happens in August, by the way? For ETH?
Do I think that?
Yes.
No, I do not think that. I would be stunned if they converted in August. I was just watching some alleged expert saying he's thinking November, but it's like you just can't keep throwing dates out there.
Well, and then to listen to the guy, the I don't know what his name is, the guy who invented ETH, say what he said. He said it's going to be August, but then there could be some glitches. So I think he knows it ain't going to be August.
I mean, the first thing is this is the 10th time they've changed the date. So why would I believe that this time is the time it's going to happen? So by the way, Seth is getting back to us and letting us know that that Cbbi index 10 to 20 is low. So that's indicating a bottom. We're at or near a bottom, which seems to be, I mean, really, if you guys watch my videos, I'm sick of saying it, and you're probably sick of hearing it, but I feel like we are at or near a bottom. There's just, what I don't feel is any bullish momentum being gained. We just had a lot of technical reasons why we should have run up over the last week, and we didn't. We just stayed completely sideways.
What about any? ANY.
Any is on my absolute endangered species list.
Let's do that because somebody else asked that. Thanks for loving the show. I appreciate it. If you guys can hit the like button, it really helps us out. What coins, or excuse me, what companies will survive a winter or a Bitcoin winter if we have one, and what companies are not looking the best?
So we'll throw a couple out. I'm going to do a series of videos on this because it's an unbelievably complicated question to. For most of these miners, it's a very complicated question to answer. For a couple of them, they're in such great shape they're going to make it. A couple other ones, you know, if some are going to go, they're going to be the first ones to go. Everybody in the middle, it is really going to depend on management of the company, managing the process, and being extremely flexible on what their plans are, because cash is going to be king. And you guys know, a lot of these guys hodl all their Bitcoin. So they are not going to want to choose right now in a crypto winter to have to liquidate all their Bitcoin. So they need a plan where they can cash flow through, and it doesn't take as much money as it seems like, because operationally these companies don't have, most of them are somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million to $10 million a quarter of overhead. So that's what they're going to have to cover. If we assume we're in a crypto winter and their gross profit margin's gone down to zero, and there's some of them that'll go negative, right? It's going to cost them more to mine a Bitcoin than they make on it. But that doesn't mean they're going to stop mining them, because they need to keep accumulating them. Obviously, you know, unless they don't believe in Bitcoin, in which case they shouldn't be a Bitcoin miner. But you know, the end game is that these Bitcoin are going to be worth significantly more money. So they will keep mining them. They will turn machines off. I got to believe if there's a crypto winter, if we hit $20,000 on Bitcoin, everything that's not 90 terahash plus is getting turned off. That's something along those lines, in my opinion, would have to happen. But I mean, let's face it, most of these machines are new. I mean, I bet you 90% of the machines running in North America 6 months from now will be new machines, something along the equivalence of the S19J or the Pro, that are, you know, between 100, 104, 140. So, you know, those machines will stay on.
So, what do you think? Cleanspark, Riot?
Who's going to survive and who's going to... Well, I don't want to give a spoiler alert to all of them, but I will tell you...
Just tell me one.
Well, I'm going to tell you two, because I told one in my video. So if you didn't watch the video, here.
Shame on you.
I think HUT is the most prepared for a crypto winter. So if you look at... I think I listed 9 factors.
People must have. 10% up today. I think somebody must have watched it.
You know, there's different strategies, and I hope we're not going into a crypto winter. So hopefully the answer to this is it doesn't matter. But if we do go into an extended down period, Hut 8's balance sheet is extremely strong compared to the rest of and there's several other that have strong balance sheets. So there's a bunch of these that are going to make it unless management makes bad decisions or does not make decisions quickly enough. Because they're going to have to be flexible with their plans, because right now everyone is in extremely high growth mode with their plans. And that's not going to work if we go into an 18-month, you know, Bitcoin winter. So they cannot go spend, you know, $500 million or $800 million or $1.5 billion. That money's dried up. They're not going to be able to raise any money through equity throughout a crypto winter, right? So there will be no more stock dilution, but there's no more money coming from equity. They've got whatever cash they have, and, you know, the ones that have an extremely strong balance sheet will be able to raise some debt. That's when you want to raise debt, in the middle of a crypto winter, not right before a crypto winter so that you got to pay it all off in the middle of crypto winter. So to me, that's one of the big factors on who makes it and who doesn't make it. It's all like every business under the sun. It's all about cash flow. So, gross mining margin, a lot of people are looking at, oh, these guys have a little bit lower gross mining margin. They're not going to make it. That's really, to me, I think that ranked number 6 out of my 9 factors on whether or not they would survive a Bitcoin winter. So, it's a factor, but there's a lot of things ahead of that.
So just so you guys all know, I am having a bad hair day. I let my son borrow my camera, and I thought it would just plug it right back in and work again, but it didn't. Oh, so explain to me on options. I have Hive, right? I have a call for Hive at $2.
Yes.
So explain to me how that works.
So you'll have
$6?
No, it was a 5-to-1 reverse split. So you'll have $10
10-to-1
calls.
Oh my God! It was 5-to-1, and they're only $4.
They got down into the 80s. Yeah, this.
Oh my God! So I'm never making. So the $250 I might want to take.
If you can get your money out of those, this is not financial advice, but in a theoretical world, I probably would get rid of those if I owned them.
I mean, for $250, I keep whatever at this point in time and let it expire. Oh wait, they're like next week. Wait a sec, is June next week?
June's next week, but the options I think are June 17th.
This has been a rough ride. You know that?
Oh, 2022 is. I mean, this is 9 straight down weeks. 2022 has been 5. We had one rally. The last 2 weeks of March were great. So I hope everybody maybe made a little bit of money on that. Other than that, it's been pretty brutal. Alex is saying Coors has $1 billion in debt. Yeah, I know. I agree. $1 billion in debt is concerning to me. So Coors is one of those where you gotta decide where you think Bitcoin is going. If you think Bitcoin's going into an extended crypto winter, that's probably not one of the ones you want to be holding on to, in my opinion.
Yeah, I had an option for a company that split, and it changed to a new ticket, and it went to 0. Oh, well, don't worry. I had, what was it, $5? We were convinced on Bitfarm, and we had $5. I can't. If I see a $5 Bitfarms ever again, I'll be very happy.
Well, I feel like you will see a Bitfarm. These numbers that these companies are trading at right now have absolutely priced in an extended collapse in Bitcoin. So whether or not we're going to have a crypto winter, you are looking at the stock prices of what a crypto winter looks like. And they could go down, more from here, obviously. But Bitfarms at $1.84 is just, hot at $2.52.
Oh.
All of these Cleanspark, remember, there's only 40 million shares of Cleanspark out there. They're at $5.89. Coors
I have one for you. What
do you got?
I forgot.
Thank you.
See, I like to use my facial expressions, and when I don't have them, I forget things.
So basically, was the moral of that story is that your camera's gone?
Yes, that's the moral of the story.
Oh,
the camera is
okay.
gone.
Anthony's asking, does Bitfarms have debt? And they do have debt. And they borrowed $100 million on a line of credit. So that sounds like a lot of money, but they have significantly more current assets than that. So I don't like that $100 million. I wish they didn't do it, but it's not a deal breaker for me. To me, they are one of the ones that would survive a crypto winter. Also, on a secured line of credit, it's secured by the Bitcoin that they own. So, it's not like they're going to call them on that and make them pay it off. And the only time they would get in trouble is if literally all the Bitcoin they had on their balance sheet was no longer enough to collateralize that loan. And that would have to be a very serious crypto winter. And even then, they got hundreds of millions of dollars of, long-term assets, machines. I got to believe the bank would work with them on, $100 million when you have hundreds of millions in current assets. It's not great, but it's not a deal breaker.
I
A
know
billion?
what I was gonna say.
That's tough.
I got one for you. This was what Tom and I were looking at, I believe, yesterday. GameStop. Can you pull up GameStop? This will blow your mind away when you think about it. When you
GameStop?
look at yep. When you look at GameStop and you understand the reason why they're going nuts is supposedly they came out and they announced that they were gonna do a crypto coin or something, right? They're doing some coin or gonna accept crypto. Look at their market cap valuation. $10 billion.
Yeah, GameStop's twice as big as all the Bitcoin miners
All of them.
publicly traded put together.
All of them. Does that even make sense? That's what blows my mind. When I saw this, we were looking at this is the whole industry for Bitcoin mining that's publicly traded. This one company.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the prices that you are looking at right now of the Bitcoin miners, even after a little bit of a green day and a rally, these are desperately low numbers. So, you know, if Bitcoin's moving into a crypto winter, then these are priced correctly. And in fact, some of these, you know, won't make it. But right now they're all priced that there's a significant risk that they're going out of business. That is what these prices are. And I really can't find one exception on this list that's priced any different than that. I mean, even the big three, which is, you know, Coors, Riot, and Marathon, and I know Marathon's a little bit different because they've got their own list of problems going on top of everything else. But Riot's under $1 billion. I mean, and Marathon and Coors are just about at $1 billion. So these are very low. You know, it goes and that.
Go ahead.
It falls off a cliff after that. You know, Bitfarms and Hut 8 and Hive and Cleanspark. Those guys are all 300 million. Some of them are under 300 million. So, you know, these are.
They're taking it out.
Well,
they took
yeah.
it out.
Well, think
They
about
took
it.
it out.
If you give yourself a 3-year time frame, I mean, can the company survive is number one, because it doesn't matter what Bitcoin does 3 years from now if the company goes out of business. And then number two, where is Bitcoin likely to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? So, you know, that to me, that's the long-term part of this.
And I think they're gonna try to beat us up for 2 years personally. I think that we got, you know, 1 year, I'll say the summer of these prices, unfortunately, and then I think it'll start bouncing back.
I will tell everybody I have been expecting a relief rally in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, and I guess we got a tiny little relief rally in the miners, but we have not gotten a relief rally in Bitcoin. I'm very surprised. So I don't know if that's yet to come or if it's just going to miss this cycle and not happen.
And I'm down 50%. And I won't mention the amount of money because my wife can hear me right now. She'll come and start hitting me again. Last time I told her, she started hitting me. I'm like, don't hit me, woman. Real quick questions. Does Coors have $1 billion in debt? Do you know?
Coors has $1 billion in debt. Yes.
That doesn't make you nervous?
The reason that doesn't make me nervous, there's two reasons. Number one, I do not believe that Bitcoin is going to go down to $15,000 or $20,000 for 1 or 2 years. I just don't believe that at all. For those of you that do believe that, then probably looking at a Coors with $1 billion of debt, that's, you know, those are the ones where you got to do an analysis. Are these guys going to make it in a crypto winter? Because that's not a given with that amount of debt versus a Hut where they have $100 million of debt. And, you know, that's significantly less than the amount of current assets they have. So you got to look at current assets, you got to look at debt, and then you've got to look at these guys will be able to get some loan to value on their equipment, because for almost all of these companies, almost all of their equipment is brand new. So even if it's a 40% loan to value, you know, and because the banks are very scared of them, then that's still, they don't need that much cash to get from here to the other side if they're smart. If they get small, if they only keep their best Bitcoin miners online and take the old ones offline, and if they manage overhead and cash, and they don't continue to try and expand massively, that's why I will tell you, like Irene and Wolf and Cypher and, all these companies that were at 0 on January 1st, and they're hoping to be, at 15 exahash in 12 to 18 months. That plan's going to be somewhere between hard and impossible to implement in a crypto winter. So that's...
Which brings us, somebody mentioned Any a while back. Which brings us to Any, and what is your feelings on Any, Tom?
I mean, Any to me is, they're on my endangered species list. They did give an update at long last. They were pretty much radio silent, and they've got a new CEO, so she's able to at least distance herself from whatever deals and press releases and that kind of stuff was going on. And she basically seemed to indicate that, listen, they have until June 1st to get us, I think it's maybe 10 or 20 machines. I mean, remember, they ordered 60,000 new miners, and they've received 0 so far. So that deal is cancelable. And based on the 2 or 3 sentences she spent talking about it, it seems like there's an extreme chance that deal will be canceled. We all thought, on this channel, I did a video that night. I never thought that deal was real. That deal seemed ludicrous to me, but
I think you were the first one to put the story up.
I'm sure I was the first one that had a story out on that, because it rang so false to me. And it wasn't just the miners that rang false. The structure of the deal, I've been looking at deals for a long time, and I used to be in that kind of work. I've never seen a deal structured anything in the neighborhood of like this was structured. It would have been, if that deal was real, it was the worst deal any company's ever made in the history of time. So that was my biggest reason. I thought, this is not real. Nobody's this stupid.
Let's move on. Nile is a hidden gem, 20K and expanding Bitcoin miners, 0 debt. Do you know who that is?
I do. That's BitNile, and my only problem with BitNile is they do have several other lines of business, and I know, they're gearing up their Bitcoin, so that's getting to be a larger and larger part of their business. But they're also gearing up some of their other parts of business. So, maybe you can let me know if you read any more deeply. Are they going to separate these things? Is the Bitcoin mining going to be on its own? Because there's some other segments of their business that are growing very fast that, I'd rather have a pure play on Bitcoin than one where even as it grows, if, it's just one of several lines of business that the company's in. And it's a fine line, because I also like a diversification of revenue, but not to the extent where, Bitcoin becomes the non-dominant part of your revenue.
This is an interesting one by John. Oh, before I hit that one, Hive, can they survive a bear market?
Hive?
Yes.
I think Hive's in very good shape to survive a bear market. And I know there are a lot of people right now that are very angry at Hive. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just looking at, I'm looking at their balance sheet. They have almost no debt, and they have a strong balance sheet. And now the question that we talked about earlier, this Ethereum thing, is going to play into that. If all of a sudden their Ethereum revenue goes to 0, obviously that is going to hurt. Having said that, they have been moving more and more towards Bitcoin mining, and the deal they just made with Intel, those are all ASIC chips. So, every machine they've got coming on that deal is all Bitcoin miners. So they're moving in that direction. Are they going to get caught in the middle? That's one of the ones that's, I have them in the survival category, but I could certainly lay a scenario out where, they don't survive. But that would be a very, very crypto winter bearish type of a scenario.
Okay, then here's the interesting question from John. I guess Amazon's doing a 20-to-1 split June 6th, but you had to have it from today. What does the trading do next week? How does that work? So let's say all of a sudden you buy it Tuesday.
I've never seen that before. Usually with a dividend, there's an ex-dividend date, but with a split date, you're not going to get burned in the middle if you buy Amazon in the middle. When it splits, you're going to get the affected split.
And let's see, Alex wrote, Cleanspark MC 243 million. Margin of credit?
Market cap. Their market cap's 200. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that doesn't make sense. I'm
clean.
sorry, it's so low. I didn't even think that was the market cap.
So
Alex I won't say. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading Alex, who's saying cores can monthly mine and sell instead of hodl. And that's one of the reasons. I'll tell you, Alex, I own cores. I mean, I don't own the company. I own shares of core stock. For that reason, I mean, they're mining over 1,000 Bitcoin a month. So even in a crypto winter, if they had to, even with the amount of debt that they have to, they have to pay their debt, I think they'll survive. But I'm just saying that's a riskier bet to me than a company that's got no debt. Because depending on just how low Bitcoin gets, a lot of these miners still haven't reached the economy of scale to where their gross profit margin is where they want it to be, because they all plan to ramp up so much bigger than they are right now. So had a lot of these companies just said, you know what, I'm going to get to 4 exahash and that's it, their Bitcoin mining margins would be much higher right now, because they wouldn't have all this capex on all this new facilities. And so, nobody's at the, and nobody's ever at the finish line, but nobody's even mature yet. I guess if anybody is close, it's Core Scientific, right? They're at I think approaching 9 exahash of their own, but they lose money on their hosting, which I don't like. Every single one of the publicly traded Bitcoin miners that has a hosting service loses money on it. And I don't like that, because really what's happening is they're allocating a portion of their direct cost to those machines. So it's a little bit misleading when you look at their Bitcoin gross profit mining margin, in my opinion. So
well, I mean, it's probably all the. I'm sorry, I know the answer to that question. I ain't giving the answer. Sorry. It says BBIG is going to spin off their miners in 30 days. BitNile is spinning off the holding part. I don't know.
Oh, so BitNile's gonna spin that off and be its own. So that, yeah, I mean, if they do that and that's its own thing, then I'd be much more interested in it. I don't even have them on this list, and let's look them up right now. They're not a huge company, but
as you're doing that, did you see the SEC Gary his lecture on blockchain?
No.
Was that at the WEF? Or was that just, here stateside?
Well, they're having that thing in Davos right now.
Yeah, that's the WEF.
Yeah, that's the other weird thing about BitNile. It's a 36-cent stock, which obviously it doesn't make any difference. It's a $113 million market cap. So I got to dig into this more. I gotta dig in and get to the bottom of BitNile, because this probably should be at least on the watch list.
He's just slacking, guys.
Somebody's saying I bought Bitfarm contracts for next year. What strike point?
The central bankers are ruthless, and they don't want people to use altcoins. They want everyone into their digital currency. Amen to that.
Well, that's the struggle of this whole thing, and to me, there's going to be winners and losers, and that's why I have more confidence in Bitcoin. I wouldn't say I'm a Bitcoin purist, although I would tell you, when George and I went to the Bitcoin conference, there was a lot of Bitcoin purists there, and including some people I would not have expected. So, a lot of people were explaining their reasoning, and it was hard to argue with that. But I think some other things will survive, but I think Bitcoin's going to survive the best, and a lot of the altcoins are going to suffer because really there is no major governmental body that wants to see these things exist. Now, it's a bit out of their hands, but that's the struggle. Oh, somebody's asking about the DigiHost share buyback. Now, I've seen 3 or 4 companies do something that, and this is a testament to how oversold this market is. By the way, guys, this is one of the worst markets in the history of the stock market. I'm going to say it's top 3. And so that's why you're seeing stocks down. I've got stocks. I have a list now, a separate watch list. Stocks down over 95%. Really, since I've been trading stocks, I've never seen a stock down over 95% that wasn't imminently going out of business. And now I have a whole watch list of them. So this has been a deceivingly horrendous market. This is top 3. And by some measures, for the small cap high growth, this is a full-blown depression. I mean, those stocks are down on the average 80%. So what some companies are doing, like DigiHost, and it seems bizarre because DigiHost has a shelf offering. The first thing is their shelf offering's bizarre because it's like a $250 million shelf offering, and they're a $50 million company. So I've never seen anything like that. You can't have a shelf offering that's going to liquidate yourself, 6 times your market cap. So that was weird. But okay. So, but now what they're saying is forget that. We are not selling any of our shares of stock at $1.82. In fact, they're so unbelievably underpriced, we're going to buy them back. And I think there's some companies that have a plan that, you know what, I'll keep my shelf offering open. If I can buy shares back at $1.80, I can probably sell them a year from now at $5, $6, $7. The companies that believe in themselves, that think that, this storm is not going to last forever. And because these prices are historically low. So, it's a weird situation to have an at-the-market shelf offering, but they're not the only company that I'm looking at that's doing that. So it is kind of counterintuitive, though. And in addition to that, if I was management, I would not spend 1 penny buying stock back because, if we're moving into anything that might be a crypto winter, the last thing you want to do is spend your cash on, pretty much anything, never mind on stock, right? This is not an investment company. It's supposed to be a Bitcoin mining company. So I don't agree with what they're doing, but I think that's why they're doing it.
I still don't think I like the way that they hold their Bitcoin and not sell for the operations for that month.
Well, and there's still, most of them are doing that now, and they're not going to be able to get away with it. If we have an 18-month to 24-month crypto winter, nobody's going to be able to do that. Everybody's going to have to abandon ship on that strategy.
Yeah, good. They should abandon it now because it's not really a company. If you think about it, they're not bringing in any revenue. There should be like a whole different stock market for companies like this.
It's very unusual. I don't know another industry where you've ever had them have a product and they don't sell their product. They just keep making more of it and more and more. But it's...
Oh, Michael just said the kiss of death, by the way.
What is it?
The kiss of death. What does this trade at? It says global oil benchmark. Crude could rise past $150 a barrel if there is a sharp contraction in Russian oil export. Bank of America Global Research said this Friday. Just so you guys know, I hate to say this, The magic number that shut the economy down last time was $133. And when I say it shut it down, it was like you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, gas at 150 is a nightmare. Or oil, I should say.
It's already hit it once, but then it came right back down.
Gas, yeah, we pumped up to a really big number for a few days right at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine situation. It backed off. I think it's been pegged around 110, but it's gotten under 100 a couple of times. But if it pops up to 150, we're in a world of pain.
So, oh yeah, it's
but I don't know what that's going to mean for Bitcoin. Right? At some point, Bitcoin is going to start acting on its merits versus on the greater manipulation of what, other people's agendas are with Bitcoin. And that's not a conspiracy. Bitcoin's still a very small market cap, right? Bitcoin's a $500 million, $500 billion market cap that, they're not, there's 5 companies that are bigger than that in the stock exchange. So it's still a size that it can be manipulated, and that's not in an evil conspiracy theory way. It's just big money can push stocks around, and they can push cryptocurrency around as well at this point. At some point, it'll be beyond that. When will the crypto winter be over? That's anybody's guess. I really don't. I'm calling it a Bitcoin bear market and an altcoin crypto winter. I don't know when the altcoins turn around. If you look, you'll see that the Bitcoin dominance number is, I think it was at 46%. It's been growing and growing and growing, and even that's misleading because what has happened, the Bitcoin dominance used to be these astronomical numbers, 70% or 80%, but we did not have stable coins back then. The number 3 and 4 market caps of all coins are stable coins. So that is skewing the Bitcoin dominance number a lot.
Tether is, I know it's not that big of a deal, but it's 0.988. 0.988.
0.988? Yeah, that's getting a little bit off.
Yeah, it is.
Anything over 0.1 off, or 0.01.
I'm telling you, I'm scared of that. Somebody just said, I was reading something on Twitter, it's like, Tether is not pegged to anything. I don't know why they have USD in their name. I'm like, and they didn't even answer it because they know it's true.
Tether was at, I'll take a look, but they're at like a 70 or 80 billion dollar market cap, and hold on.
And I think just so everybody knows, I think most of this pain is being caused intentionally on the United States. Sorry.
So not to belabor the point.
This is not a political statement, but people will take it as a political statement. I don't know how somebody can sit there and claim that they care about the environment and then do things that harm the environment and then watch the price of big oil go through the roof. That's the easiest way I can put it as a non-political statement.
Yeah, if you're holding oil stocks right now, you're having a good time.
And remember, we called it. Who was it? We called this way back when.
On a live stream.
Yeah, on the live stream. We called this 6 months ago, guys.
And you guys actually helped us because we had people from all over the world, fortunately, on our live stream, which is awesome. And we asked everybody anywhere, like, what's doing well? And the only thing anybody could come up with was
energy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and oil. Yep.
That's kind of the way it played out.
1973 recession. Did anybody Google 1973 recession?
I don't have to Google
high
it.
Gasoline prices because OPEC wouldn't ship enough oil to the USA. See, that's the problem I have with anything. If we have to rely on anything from another country, we lose. Period. End of discussion. You lose. That's just the name of the game.
And at that point, OPEC dominated the world's oil market in a way that, they're still a major player, but not like then. We were totally dependent on them.
USDC, the only stablecoin I trust.
Yeah, is USDC going to pass Tether?
I don't know.
Because I was reading an article that the big wallets are moving their money out of Tether into USDC, but I'm looking at the list and Tether's still $20 billion ahead of USDC. But this is my point. Like, you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then stablecoin, BNB. Then from there, that's your 50 billion plus club, and then it goes down to 18 billion with XRP. And then it's another stablecoin after that. So, you know, the stablecoin equation is changing the Bitcoin dominance equation. And I think the Bitcoin dominance has a lot to do with whether or not these altcoins are staying in a crypto winter, and obviously whether or not Bitcoin is going to come out of its bear market.
Look at Tron. We were gonna buy Tron at 3 cents, just so you guys know. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's
Hey, one. There's one. We found one.
some things are up a little.
The creator bought some HUD 8. Nice. I'm holding shares of EGY, which is debt-free oil and gas company with a small dividend, with a PE under 5. Nice.
EGY. Hey, Eric, welcome. EGY, everybody.
KY?
I'll have to know. No, that's not it.
Different oil.
That's a totally different scenario there.
This mark.
I gotta put this one on my list. I don't like to research things while everybody has to sit and watch me, because that's boring.
This is what Eric. I agree with Eric. Where is this coming from? I really do not get investing anymore. 3 days green. Why?
Yeah, it's baffling. That's how I started out the stream today, Eric. It's baffling. I was expecting a relief rally just because almost every single thing. Bitcoin's had 8 straight weeks down. The Nasdaq's had 7 straight weeks down. So, I was expecting some kind of bounce just because everything doesn't go down in a straight line forever, even if we're not out of the woods yet. But what's bizarre to me is Bitcoin did not have a good last few days, yet the miners had some of their best in a long time. So I don't, and they followed along. The NASDAQ was up huge. So the NASDAQ had a relief rally. All 4 indexes in the U.S. had a relief rally, and it brought the Bitcoin mining equities along with them in that relief rally, but Bitcoin did not follow. I mean, they are pegged, and, we keep getting tricked, but if you want to look, I mean, honestly, this 28.8 line, there doesn't a day go by where we don't touch this line. So, we can think we're wherever we want. And 30,600, we're now like 10 or 15 days into that being the high. So that is an unbelievably small range that Bitcoin is trading in. And if anything, it has a little bit of downward momentum, even though all the technicals are showing that it should be going up. So I don't know what to make of this market. It is trying to predict this market is, you might as well be throwing darts at a board. That's on a small time frame. So, today, tomorrow, this week, even this month. But I still, big picture, I still have a positive outlook on this. And most people don't right now. I definitely, absolutely, the consensus is starting to be that we're not at max pain. We're still going down from here. Although JP Morgan just came out and said Bitcoin's undervalued. So, who would have thought? Things are upside down when JP Morgan's telling you Bitcoin's undervalued. So they had, it was big. You guys probably saw, there was an article. They said they think the fair market value of Bitcoin is $38,000. So I also would love to see their calculations on how they came up with a fair market value of Bitcoin. So, I don't know where that came from, but in their mind, it is now oversold. I'm trying to read. Somebody did. Tether is in trouble. Please watch them and give a review. Yeah, I've had a few things I wanted to do a reaction video on, but I've never done a reaction video, and I don't know if anybody cares or wants to see that. But, you know, I sit there and talk to myself and react to these videos. So, and one of them was the guy from Guggenheim. What is his name? Minard. And, you know, he went on a ramble about how Bitcoin, you know, the next logical point is $8,000. And I really wanted to do a reaction video to that because a lot of what he said seemed to be stream of consciousness that did not make a lot of sense, in my opinion.
All I know is no one's mentioned the best coin ever, which is XRP. Best coin ever.
George
Still love X.
is
I'm
in
an
the XRP club.
I am an XRP fanatic. XRP. Oh, and I didn't realize
Thanks,
this.
Logan. Yes, Scott. I pronounce it Minard. I don't know how it's actually pronounced.
It looks like Minard.
Minard.
I think that, you ready? This is what I think. Some prices go up and some prices go down.
That's going out on a limb, George. Everybody.
Yeah.
Putting it as reputation on the line.
Going up and going down.
Alex is saying speculation, but he thinks the bottom's been reached. I do too. I'm not calling a bottom because, you know, that $25,000 number, I think we could revisit at any time. But I think if we do, it's just going to be like it was last time. It's going to be for just a moment in time, and we'll bounce off of there. So that's where I think we're at. We're bouncing along the bottom. The question is, how long are we going to sit here and bounce along the bottom before we start to get some bullish momentum? Because, I mean, we you know, on the daily time frame, we've missed an entire cycle where we should have had a nice little relief rally, and it just never happened.
Oh, XRP's going to zero? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong.
Oh,
I can tell you that
is
I
Bob
almost
talking
have...
about XRP, or is he talking about Tether? Because he was earlier posted something talking about Tether.
I'm telling you one thing. I actually, not yet, but any day now, I'll have more money in XRP than I do in anything else. Just so you know.
And that was a dollar cost average strategy. So
yep, I've been strategizing on that for a long time.
It's very hard, and you got to stay disciplined to do it. And some weeks feel better than others, but over the long haul, that mostly has proven out to be a good strategy. Although, you know, this last 12 months have been strange.
I think that you haven't changed your opinion in the next 2 years on Bitcoin, have you?
Not at all.
Okay. And I think that XRP, I think this lawsuit, I don't care what anybody says, is holding down major things. 3 major things, right? 1, lawsuit. 2, no regulations. What's the third thing?
What's the third thing? They're your things.
Well, I mean, you agree with the 2 or no?
Well, that's what's hanging over XRP's head, for sure.
No, I think it's hanging over all the lawsuit with XRP and the regulations. I think that's hanging over all the altcoins.
Over all the altcoins.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in some way, yes. And there's a few other big potential catalysts out there. And one of which is this ETF that they are hell-bent to
There
not
it is.
approve.
I was waiting for you to say ETF, baby.
I mean, they're just on a mission not to approve that, but Kathy Wood
What's
just
our
submitted
bet,
another...
Logan, more, the standard $1 bet. That's the trading spaces. More, would you like to bet the standard $1?
That was a classic. We're showing our age. Classic.
I don't
80s
know.
Film.
You know what? I would take that bet. Logan, I'm taking the bet.
What's Logan's bet? I bet Doge does better than XRP.
XRP, we need 5 years, by the way. I'm saying 5 years from today, 2027, May of 2027, my birthday. 5 years from today, I'll be 58.
What's your favorite? What's your pet's name, and your name of the street you grew up on?
Who, me? Rubber Lane. Fair. Why?
There you go, everybody. There's George's info.
I grew up on Barber Lane.
Oh boy, you're not supposed.
What
to
do you
want to
bet?
questions.
You didn't hear Mortimer. You guys, if you've never watched Trading Spaces, see, I'm old. I'm an old guy. I can barely get up the stairs. But you got to watch Trading Spaces. I think it was probably one of the funniest movies ever. I'm sure there's some dark humor in it, but you know, I liked it.
That was it was a classic, and I haven't seen it in 30 years. But I mean, that was Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, various other people who I will not be naming at this time.
Why?
Those were the two stars of the movie. Nobody knows. I mean, the two old guys that made the bet, I don't know their names in real life.
I guarantee they're dead too.
Well, they
Is it a full
probably
moon
are, but
tonight?
they did pop up years later when Eddie Murphy made Coming to America, if you remember.
Oh, they were in?
They were in that. They were like bums, and he threw
Oh,
them
was
like
that
a
them?
sack of like $100,000, and was like, Mortimer, we're back in business.
It was awesome. Yes, Trading Spaces. No full moon tonight, but when is the next moon cycle, though? Speaking of which, this is when Bitcoin will start running again, just so you guys know.
Han Solo saying, how is it possible that Kathy Wood predicts $1 million Bitcoin by 2028? If that's the case, Bitcoin should be 100K plus by 2024. I just read an article yesterday. Who was that? It was somebody else who's been fairly good at predicting Bitcoin's movement, that he thinks Bitcoin's overdue to go to 100 and it'll get there in 2023. So, I don't know. I mean, it's funny because it's always, you can't predict. Last year, everybody was calling for Bitcoin 100. It was just like, when's it going to happen? This month or next month? This month or next month? And now, you know, like that's off the table now. But it's when you least expect it. So
the first...
Yes, Barry, trading places.
The first is the beginning of the cycle of the moon. But then it says June 7th. It says first. I don't know what that means. I don't know... I haven't studied it that much. I just know it follows it. It says first, full, last. Does that make sense?
I do not follow the cycles of the moon.
So like so now they're saying the new moon starts on May 30th. It says new. I'm actually going to follow it this time. We should actually track it from the first, the new, the first, the full, the last.
Don Amici, is that who that was?
So my whole thing now is I'm just deciding when to put
Yeah.
a lot of money into Bitcoin.
Nicely done, Bob Cassidy. That was Don Amici.
Who's Dan Amici?
He was Mortimer.
Oh, he was Mortimer.
I would have never got that. Good job.
That's a good... I don't know, Seth. Is there a moon cycle in the trading view? Does it have a...
I don't know. I have never looked for the moon cycle in TradingView, so I'm afraid I can't answer that question.
Are you buying mana, or is the metaverse a failure? Question mark. Tom? Did you hear, before you start saying, did you hear what Zuckerberg said?
What did he say?
Well, it's going to be... the investments into the metaverse for the next few years are not looking like we originally thought.
I think that his video when they changed their name to Meta, which I think was a monumental error in judgment. I think that video that he put out was terrifying. And I do not believe the metaverse is anywhere within the next 5 years or even probably 10 years from making any money. And there are big parts of the metaverse that I believe are an absolute scam, in my opinion, that I would stay away from. They will never be worth any money.
Hang on. We have to stop you right in your track. Han, I agree with you. How do you not have 100K subscribers? Your content is so informative and entertaining. Other investment channels aren't half as good and object. We try to lighten it up.
Thank you very much. We appreciate
I think the
that.
speculation is the bottom has been reached. There's two schools of thought. Just so you guys know, I don't like to do this, but I don't know if the bottom's been reached, but it does seem like it has been reached in some aspects. But my whole thing is I'm just not confident in the way the United States is currently positioned. There's just too many variables all over the place. I mean, this gas, we have a big problem with gas and diesel. And until that is rectified, I wouldn't say the bottom's in the stock market. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't agree. But Tom's a seasoned pro.
Listen, we're all guessing. Anybody that tells you they know is lying. You can create your case. You can do your research and create your case but we don't know. There was one day in the history of the stock market, back in 2000, I think it was 8, where the stock market bottomed, and it was crystal clear. Everybody in the world knew that day was the bottom. That's when the Dow got down to 6,700. So I can't even remember what day that was. It's so long ago now. It was somewhere in that 08, 09 time. And that's really the only day in the history of the stock market that I can say people could have called a bottom. And so, it's all you can do is your best guess and invest wisely. I mean, you should be investing in things that, doesn't matter whether we're at a bottom yet or not. There are companies that you believe in over the course of the long term.
I mean, personally, I would like to sell all my Bitcoin companies, but I'm not allowed to. And you know that I am. I make my own decisions, right? But and I'm down 50%. But I have confidence in Bitcoin overall that it's going to be fine. And I think the game is this. This is a game. And I don't even know if we're on the board of the game of chess, okay? But I can tell you what, their game is to take it so they say, Mother Hucker, I want your dollar. I want your $10. I want your $100. And as soon as you get out is when it goes nuts. I don't know about you, but anytime I get out of something in the stock market, it seemed like the next day it went up.
That's not an accident. Trust me, these guys are running high-level data to try to make sure we are all guessing wrong at what's coming next. So that's why I don't guess, and I average in, and I try to stay long-term with the things I have conviction in. I'm looking at these Bitcoin mining stocks, and I don't know. Maybe Bitfarms is going to be $1.30 2 months from now, but I'm asking myself, what's it going to be 2 years from now? And I have a strong belief as to what the answer to that is going to be. That doesn't mean it's right, but
risk it for the biscuit.
That's it. Exactly.
Oh, Bob's moving to Thailand. Are you really moving to Thailand? And then it said, Eric, I am moving to the Philippines. What is your average cost? I have not ever been able to figure that out.
Well, you should be able to look at the number of coins.
You can't. I just don't. Even go out. I'm going to go online right now and see if I can find it. Want me to share my screen? Hang on. Let me put my password up.
Max out some loans and buy some more Bitcoin miners.
See, it just doesn't show me. I have to buy it on Uphold, and it honestly does not show.
Just divide the amount of money you have by the price that it's trading at right now.
I'm scared.
Then you will know.
People are going to think I'm a loser. People are going to think I'm a loser.
Oh, no, you're right. That's just going to be, that's not going to tell you what your basis is. It doesn't tell you what your cost basis is, what your investment was.
No, it doesn't actually.
Well, you're going to have to recreate that so that you understand.
But it's like, you know what, guys? This is how I feel about XRP. I believe it will be at least I'll just say $4, okay? And so I don't really care because whether my average is 45 cents or 52 cents, $4 minus 50 cents doesn't make much difference than $4 minus 42 cents. You know what I mean?
I am going to guess on your behalf, George, just based on, you pretty much tell me every time you average in. I'm going to say you're under 55 cents.
Yeah, I think I'm around 50 cents if I had to give you a number. I'm around 50 cents. But I'm not done because you guys, I think it's going lower. I think it's going to 20 cents, personally. I think there's a very good case that it goes to 20 to 30 cents.
Seth, what's going to $11? Seth just said $11.
For XRP? Bam, baby!
He's got to tell me if he's talking XRP.
I think he is. Just so you know, Seth just said that there is a moon cycle and he uses it on Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
So I have a question, Seth. Am I wrong or am I nuts about that? I've never looked it up. I just feel it that way. What is your average on HUD 8, Tom?
Oh, my average across my average is different in different accounts. I think in the
He's as bad as me. You pick it on me and then look at him.
Well, listen, there's some accounts I started averaging in a long time ago on HUT 8, and I've taken a wild ride. But I mean, I'm way down on HUT and Bitfarms. So I'd be guessing right now off the top of my head, but it's gotta be. I bet it's over $5. So, and again, I think 5 is low. That sounds like a disaster, but in the long run, I think $5 is going to be a low number for HUT.
It's so fun. I'm down. Oh my god.
I'm down. I really got my Bitfarms down into the starting with a 2 now. Do you think that HUT or Bitfarms will do a reverse split like Hive did? The Jedi Knight. Hey, welcome. No, I very strongly believe that will not happen. I'll go so far as to say I would be shocked if that happened.
I'm getting ready to move my XRP to a cold wallet, just so you know. I had to get it to a very sizable position. And then as soon as I do that, I'm going to take them out.
All right, Seth is with you on XRP, so
woo!
You guys are the captains of the XRP club.
Well, the United States is the only country that has a problem with XRP. Well, I'm sure other countries have problems with XRP, but I'm saying that Canada uses it, Bank of India uses it. I can go on. Zimbabwe uses it.
Colton saying 5 is low, and I think he's talking about on HUT. Yeah, I mean, but I dollar cost average in, so at 250, it still feels awful to be at 5, but I understand. I mean, it's a lot of people are higher than that, and I have other accounts where it's higher than that. I know I do, where I didn't, because I switch which accounts I'm doing what with, so.
Eric, that's nice. Bob, my girlfriend is a corporate banker. Nice. Nice. We probably should wrap it up, guys. What do you think? Any other questions? Eric Brandt, I open a bank there. Emergency money. Emergency money.
I just want to read Logan's, who said the miners are an easy 10 to 100x your investment in the long run. I mean, some miners would just have to 10x just to get back to their highs. Yeah, there's a lot of these miners that would have to 10x just to get back to their highs. There's a lot of them that would have to 5x just to get back to where they were at the beginning of the year. And I do, obviously not financial advice, but I agree with Logan. I think there's going to be 10x's, 20x's, 30x's. Now some of these guys might go the other way and not make it.
100x? You think somebody could 100x? I just
do.
have one question. Really? You too?
I do. I don't think they're going to 100x up and down the line at all. I think there's going to be winners and losers, but 100x is not. Let's put it this way. I mean, some of these companies are in the under $100 million.
So you could say core, if it 100x, it would be $369?
Forget dollars. Think market cap.
Okay, sorry.
Bitfarm's market cap is in the $300 million range. So if it gets to $3 billion, that's 10x. If it gets to $30 billion, that's 100x.
Wow.
And I'm not predicting 100x. I'm just saying I think there's an
I know
awful
you're
lot
not.
of upside left on these stocks.
I'm reading the top of our stream right there, and it says, "This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before making any financial decisions."
Yes, that is true. Everybody know. I think all of you guys I know do your own homework anyway. So, but you got it. It's your money.
It was fun. Thanks, Han, for all the nice comments. That was nice.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the videos all week and for being on the live stream with us.
Oh, and congratulations, Tom. Made 9K. We're really trying to pump it up to 10K. That was our goal. We're off for 10. I guarantee 100. Okay, you're guaranteed. First of all, you got to pay me my dollar, Logan. As long as they can keep operating, they double and triple in size. Very short period, Bitcoin has a 10x in itself. They can multiply over times. I think they got a 10x.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Think about what these are if Bitcoin's at $400,000. That's what you got to think about. And, that's not 6 months from now, and maybe it's not even 5 years from now. But is it somewhere in the future?
I have to say one more thing. And this, I wasn't going to tell anybody. I might not be here next Friday because I found out I'm related to somebody from Nigeria, and they left me a lot of money.
All you got to do is give them your bank account info.
I just got to give them my bank account info, and I'm getting $55 million, guys, just so you guys know. So if I'm not here Friday, you know what happened.
I think I got a letter from that guy like 15 years ago.
Uh-huh. You did too, huh? Good night, everybody. A lot of fun.
Thanks so much. Everybody have an awesome weekend.